What's up, everybody? Glad to see you on this Friday night. This is the Rebel Report. My name is Michael Borky. Really glad that you are here. Sorry, couldn't go live immediately after the game. The game ended before the radio show ended. We had to do like 45 minutes extra of radio, and then I had to get home, get little man fed and to bed, and now we get to talk about Ole Miss surviving, and that is what they did today, and that is what you do in the NCAA tournament. Survive and advance is a cliche, but it's one for a reason. Ole Miss did just that today, and the program itself took a big step forward today. We'll talk about that, read your comments, and more on this edition of the Rebel Report. Again, my name is Michael Borky. I appreciate you being here. I know baseball's going on literally right now, so if you're here watching this, I appreciate you. Ole Miss has a one-run lead in the seventh for what it's worth. Maybe they can hang on to that one. But I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe in the podcast feed, wherever you get them. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, just search Rebel Report, subscribe, and leave a rating and a review. And this edition of the podcast is presented by the Gregory Law Firm. DJ Gregory of the Gregory Law Firm. He's in Fulton, but he can service you anywhere in this great state for personal injury. If you've been personally injured, do not waste another second. Wake up on Monday. Call DJ Gregory at 662-397-9799. Don't waste another second. Call DJ Gregory of the Gregory Law Firm today. Also, small business. If you're a small business owner or you want to start a small business and you don't really know what to do or how to cross your T's or dot your I's, give them a call at 662-397-9799. Okay. So we'll do a little box score house cleaning and then read your comments and then just have some fun. How you guys feeling? How does an NCAA tournament game in which your team allows their opponent to come back from 22 down to 2 down, offense goes stagnant for 6 full minutes, and Pedulla yet again rises to the occasion, makes a big three, and they hold on for dear life. Now that it's over, how much fun was that? In the moment, I don't think many of you guys were having fun, but when something like that ends, when you go through it and experience it, how much fun was that? Ole Miss does not have much of this in its history. That's what makes today such a big day and to me such a step forward. Only the 10th NCAA tournament that Ole Miss has ever been to, but this is why we spend all season talking about basketball. This is why we spend so much time talking about how it matters if you can play good basketball and what it means for fans and how much fun the NCAA tournament really can be if you're a participant in it. You guys got to feel that today. This will be, that Pedulla shot should be, in my opinion, one of those in the Ole Miss lore, right? It was pointed out to me earlier that the only other shot that you could describe as the biggest shot in Ole Miss basketball was one all the way back in 2001 inside of a minute that got them to the Sweet 16. Take a lead on a three that gets them to the Sweet 16 24 years ago. This probably, unless you guys can tell me that there's another one, right? Unless you can come up with one, this is probably the second biggest shot in the history of Ole Miss basketball, that Pedulla three, that ended the game right there. That basically guaranteed the win when Pedulla made that three. At least it felt like it. That kind of buried the game. That might be the second biggest shot in the history of Ole Miss basketball. How amazing does that feel as a fan? I mean, watching it live as we had live mics in front of us was a joy. I could not imagine if you guys got to relax and have a beer and, leave work early and all that. But that is what the NCAA tournament can do to a fan base. That's what it can do to a program. And all of those things considered, the lack of history for Ole Miss basketball. So I think it's a major step forward because of that. But also, more importantly, forget the history for a second, because we say all the time history, quote unquote, doesn't matter in this era. A win like that is proof of concept. A win like that, and I know they were an 11 seed and they probably didn't belong in the tournament, but a win like that over a brand like that is validation this season being what it was, and at worst, it ends in the round of 32 after an exciting tournament win over a brand, is proof to Chris Beard. And trust me, the fundraising that's going to follow this is going to prove Chris Beard even more. It's proof to Keith Carter. It's proof to Glenn Boyce. And most importantly, it is proof to you, the fans, that you can matter in March in basketball at Ole Miss. You can have meaningful wins in March at Ole Miss. The investment, the return on the risk, frankly, which Keith Carter and then Glenn Boyce, but it started with Keith Carter, the risk that they took in hiring Chris Beard, that's what it was at the time. The return on that risk is showing itself very quickly. And the return on the monetary investment into the program, you are seeing proof, tangible, actual proof. And now what a win like today can do, because there are some of you that watch every Ole Miss basketball game. You go to every game, you watch every game, you've done it forever. You can't imagine not caring about this program, but there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are Ole Miss fans that are casual at best observers of basketball. And they know about Chris Beard and they've heard about him. Trust me, I interact with these people during the radio show all the time. We had somebody today text in asking us what a double-double was. And I'm not saying that to insult the man. That goes to show you how many casual people tune in when your team is playing games that matter in March. Literally, somebody asked us today, hey, what's a double-double? I'm new to basketball. That person watched Ole Miss play today, and that person watched Ole Miss win today on that stage. And so now you're going to get people like him and thousands of others to buy into the concept of supporting basketball, to going to games, to make it a point where, hey, look, in February, they play Kentucky and Oxford. Let's make a trip up. Let's make a weekend out of it. You will get – this is how you build a fan base. It helps when you've got a coach that goes to the fraternity houses and is engaged in the local community. But the thing that really builds culture and fans is winning, is tangible evidence that this is worth their time. Today's win is tangible evidence that basketball is worth the time for people at Ole Miss. Like I said, it's proof to Keith Carter. It's proof to Glenn Boyce. It's proof to the big-time money donors that have funded this. It's proof to you fans that are donating to the Grove Collective that have funded this. It's proof to you that go to a game a year. It's proof to the casuals that basketball can work at Ole Miss, regardless of what happens after today. Just an absolutely massive win and an absolutely successful season, a big step forward. Anything that happens here, I don't want to say Sunday doesn't matter, because it matters. Of course it does. It's a chance to go to the Sweet 16. But if they don't, this season is a massive success for Chris Beard and Ole Miss. And now it's time for them, to keep going, right, to keep playing. But now it's time for them to get back to the drawing board when it comes to roster, because they're losing a lot of guys, and build a team that can do this again. But that felt different than like that first 4 game with BYU did, for example. This clearly feels different than what happened in 2019. The program took a step forward today with a win over North Carolina. We'll do a little box score stuff, and then I'll read your comments after I tell you the podcast is brought to you in part by Toyota of Brookhaven. Look, we know the car buying experience is a stressful one, and you should go to a place that's not going to try to work one over on you. When you shop at Toyota of Brookhaven, you know that you're going to be treated like a person, that you're going to get an honest deal, that you're going to get a good car. Check them out, Exit 40 in Brookhaven, or online. Check out their online inventory before you go at toyotaofbrookhaven.com. Tell them I sent you, by the way. You get $1,000 on me, $1,000 off on me, any in-stock new Toyota. They have a service department if you're in the area. It's an outstanding service department. Any maker model, you don't need to drive a Toyota to get a car serviced there. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. If you want a new Tundra, interest rates as low as 1.99%. Great service, great savings. Toyota of Brookhaven, they deliver. Sean Pedulla, the hero yet again for Ole Miss. He was outstanding today. Too many turnovers. We'll talk about that here in a second. But 20 points, 7 of 14 from the field, made 2 of his 4 3-point shots, had 5 assists, and 6 rebounds. I cannot talk. Did it for 3 hours, and I can't do it when I get home. Also had a couple of steals as well. Sean Pedulla gets the whistle that Auburn people think Janai Broome gets. I don't know what he has to do to get some calls, man. He attacks the basket and gets hacked, and he does not get a liberal whistle. YouTube's going to flag that now that I used a political term, but no, he gets he gets the Janai Broome whistle, the one that people think that he gets is actually given to Sean Pedulla, but made the massive shot, just absolutely clutch. That is 3 basically game-winning shots in March for Sean Pedulla. This one doesn't count, but it should. Obviously, the one over Oklahoma, and then, of course, over Arkansas in the NCAA tournament. When the game is on the line and you need somebody to take a shot, that person is Sean Pedulla. But that shot should exist in Ole Miss lore alongside, the back-to-back-to-back jacks in baseball. That was for a national championship, not a first-round win. But that Pedulla shot should be one that you guys watch and remember forever. The Sinquez Golson interception against Alabama. This is one of those plays that you guys should remember forever. I mean, that's how big it is. By the way, Ole Miss scores a couple of runs in the top of the 7th to go up 6-3 in baseball. So good on them. Dre Davis was really good, especially early. Foul trouble is the only thing that kept him from dominating this game throughout. He had 4 fouls, but 15 points on 6 of 9 from the field, including 3 of his 4 3-point shots. He set the tone in this game. More importantly, 5 offensive rebounds for Dre Davis. We talked about him going into this game, that this needed to be a big Dre Davis game, and buddy, was it ever. Jamin Brakefield gave them 12 and 4 assists for Brakefield as well. On 3 of 8 from the field, did make 2 of his 5 threes, though. Also had a pair of offensive rebounds himself. Malik Dia gave them 8 on only 3 of 4 from the field. Got in some foul trouble. I know there's a couple of times where Beard was really getting into him. I'm surprised he only played 18 minutes, though. But still. Matt Morrell, I think, played really good defense today. Only had 8 points, was only 3 of 8 from the field, but did have 6 boards, a pair of assists, a couple of steals, and a block as well. I thought he was really effective defensively in this game. Murray gave them 7 on 2 of 8 from the field, did knock down a big 3 early, and that was the key. Ole Miss got off to a really good start. They were really well prepared for this game. Davis was exceptional early. Ole Miss made a lot of shots early, and 2 things I think prevented Ole Miss from cruising in this game. And to me, it was turnovers, which Ole Miss was not good at protecting the basketball today. Now, again, some of it was, I think, Pedulla getting hacked and not getting called, and that would lead to a turnover. But 14 turnovers for Ole Miss is a bad day for them. They're better at protecting the ball than that. That kept North Carolina in the game. North Carolina is really good in transition, and Ole Miss gave them too many transition opportunities. 14 turnovers, that's too many. And then the foul trouble. Again, Dre Davis had 4. Dia and Morrell each had 3. Barnes had 4. He's a quality defender, but they couldn't keep him on the floor. His 4th foul was bogus, but still, foul trouble also allowed North Carolina to stay in this game. Defensively, Ole Miss very good. Very, very good. They had 6 steals and 3 blocks in this game. North Carolina shot 38%, 21% in free throws. You don't defend those, but they went 38 and 21. And yes, they did miss some open looks, but Ole Miss also defended them pretty well as well. Hold on one second. Sorry, I thought he was calling me, but no, he should be falling asleep any second now. The Black Knights have a big soccer game tomorrow, so we better get our rest tonight. But that was what Ole Miss defended North Carolina much better than San Diego State did. That's for sure. But it was, and also the rebounding margin, Ole Miss won by 6. So Ole Miss out-rebounded them. They outshot them. What kept North Carolina in the game was turnovers leading to transition buckets, and then Ole Miss's foul trouble. They almost blew it, a 6-minute scoring drought where the ball sticks too much, and they had turnovers, and for some reason, they don't run their offense for periods of time, especially when they have leads. And you get there were points in the game where they had 16-point lead or an 18-point lead, and then North Carolina would make a shot or two, and that offense would just hit a wall, and it would be their own doing. It wasn't like North Carolina played great defense on them, but that is just kind of what this team does at this point. But they overcame it. Pedulla the hero, and they survive and advance. A big win, a really fun win. And I'll shut up now because I've been talking too much. And we'll get to you guys after I tell you the podcast is brought to you in part by Advantage Business Systems. Check them out online at absms.com. Advantage Business Systems has you covered for all of your Mississippi office technology needs. Tell them I sent you, get a complimentary office technology assessment. So you tell them what you need and what your budget is, and they will find a solution for you on me. It's Advantage Business Systems, absms.com. Podcast is also brought to you in part by Priority One Bank. They make you their priority every single day with their online banking platform. It's a one-stop shop. All you need is an internet connection. You can do whatever it is that you need to do with your money because Priority One Bank makes you their priority. North Carolina, first message here, of course. North Carolina really loves to get down 20 and stage a furious comeback, don't they? Again, Pedulla comes up in the clutch with the game on the line, certified bucket getter. Yeah, they did that in the ACC championship game too, didn't they? They have athletes, obviously. A handful of good guards. Ole Miss goes up 8-3 now. So really picking on 4-run top of the seventh, and it's still going. Only one out for Ole Miss. Good for them. They need this series badly to get back on track. But anyway, good guards, explosive guards that can get out and run on you. And they did that. Ole Miss allowed them to come back in with turnovers and stagnant offense, but Pedulla, man. You guys that have been here longer than me, I know everybody loved Marshall Henderson. That's when I was in school. I know everybody loved Steph Moody because he was awesome, right? Is there anybody – I know he's only played for 1 year, and that's going to be the knock on him, I guess. But Sean Pedulla has made 3 game-winning shots, essentially, this March. Is there anybody else in Ole Miss history you'd rather have the ball in their hand in that spot than him after what he's done this March? Help me out if there's somebody else. Just get a big hottie toddy from Brad. Let's go kick some Cyclone ass, guys. And, Iowa State's really good. They looked really, really good today. They're very long. This is a much tougher matchup physically for Ole Miss. They're going to miss the few minutes that Brown Jones could give them, I think, in this game. They're athletic. They're long. It's a really good team. It is Ole Miss has got their hands full on Sunday, but, it's the tournament. You want to count out this team? Do you want to count out this team? I'm not going to do that. The whole going 6 minutes without scoring thing was not ideal. And I don't understand why they're not able to get out of the stagnation. Because it's not like they just went cold. They started running bad offense. Ball sticks too much. No movement. It's weird how they get into those funks. Those announcers were really getting under my skin. They were so against Ole Miss, it was obvious. So since we were on the show, I had to watch on mute. So I have no idea what it was like. I do love Kevin Harlan, though. He is the man. There were a lot of eyeballs on that game. Oh, you know it. So yesterday broke a first-round daily average record. 9.1 million people on average watched all the games across all the platforms yesterday. Broke a record. It's unbelievable. That's like the NBA Finals number. It's insane. There were a lot of eyeballs on that game today, especially as it went down to the wire. I would not be surprised if that number is a 9+ million number. North Carolina down to the wire Friday afternoon. Very possibly could be a 9 million number. They basically play football at Iowa State. Can't stand how tight a shirt the Clones coach wears. Both men's and women's team advanced to the round of 32. That feels like a first. Well, them both making the tournament together is a first. So, yeah, this is absolutely a first. Possibly the best collective day in the history of Ole Miss basketball. I know the men went to the Sweet 16, but when you factor in both programs, this might be the best day Ole Miss basketball at large has ever had. Kevin Harlan's is a GOAT announcer, though, maybe the best in the business. I love him. I mean, he was on the call for that Furman shot last year, and it's such a good call. He's awesome. Does the dude that called Ole Miss a fraud need an ass whipping? No, no. But, however, look, he went out on a limb, had a strong opinion, and he was wrong. Where he really screwed up, and what I think is super lame, is not having a strong opinion. That's what you're supposed to do in broadcasting, right? You're supposed to have strong opinions. He was wrong. So what? What is lame is taking to Twitter saying, "You're welcome, Ole Miss fans." I hate that. Just take the L. What you should say is something, jokingly like, "Not a ball knower. Congrats, Ole Miss." That's what you do. Instead, it's, "You're welcome for motivating you." I hate that crap. It's so lame. Tim Doyle's a clown. Good thing about playing Iowa State is they have cold streaks like Ole Miss. And look, Ole Miss defends really well. Stan Van Gundy calling them Mississippi was, of course, annoying. And you know exactly why he's doing that. And it's just it's Ole Miss's fault for having that out there. Like the reason why it's called Ole Miss, even though there's no literature that actually proves that to be true. But it's not true. Like that's not, there's no evidence to suggest that that's where it came from. But I promise you, he refuses to say Ole Miss because of how he thinks about most things. I promise you. So what I'm hearing now is UNC is frauds and shouldn't have been in. Those same people had them as a lock to win easily today. A lot of people didn't even give Ole Miss a chance. I mean, Ole Miss was the underdog, but man, everybody thought North Carolina was going to win that game. It was very fascinating that the flip switched so quickly to North Carolina doesn't belong to, well, they're just going to go easily beat the 6th seed out of the SEC, the best league in America. As Kylo Ren said in Star Wars, more. Let's keep it going. Wouldn't that be awesome? Stan Van Gundy was bad, Mike. Well, he was bad as the head coach of the Pelicans as well. That was a one and done. The Pedulla shot got to be one of the biggest Ole Miss moments in March ever. Yeah. The rebounds also buried the game. Yes, they did. Matt Morrell came up big. Barnes came up big, rebounding. That 2001 shot by Jason Harrison. Yeah, that's got to be number one, right? So, Keith, you help me out there. That's the biggest shot in Ole Miss basketball history. I think that's undeniable. They've only been to one Sweet 16. The shot that essentially sent them there, that's number one. This has got to be number two, right? Because there was no, although the comeback was awesome in the Moody game over BYU, there was no one shot that won that game, and that was first four anyway. In 13, they just beat Wisconsin, so there was no one shot. They just won that game. So, yeah. 14 turnovers helped UNC back in the game. If Ole Miss protects the basketball within their usual amount, that game's not close today. Trey Davis playing well means everything to this team. And stepping in confidently. Just very confident, relaxed, comfortable shots. He didn't take ill-advised shots. Everything was within rhythm. He looked very much in control mentally. So with his length and athleticism, he was a big part of this team all year. But, yeah, when he's like that, they're hard to beat. South to Texas? I have no idea. Wouldn't surprise me, though. Texas can basically do whatever they want. Need the first half play all the time? Yeah, no kidding. The Collective is now selling bourbon. I saw that. If any of you want to send me a bottle, I'll take it. Biggest postseason win for basketball since 2001, with all due respect to 2013 Wisconsin upset. I do think this one means more. What time do I think the Ole Miss game will be? I don't know. We'll find out tonight. It'll be a little bit later. My guess would be afternoon, either like one of the first games off or like 1:30. How deep can they go in the tournament? I mean, I think that they can win on Sunday. I'll be fully transparent with you guys. I don't think that they will. Um, I think Iowa State's going to present too much of a challenge to them physically, but just because I don't think that they will doesn't mean that they can't. They absolutely can win this game. Um, no doubt about it. They can win this game. Let's see. I mean, they'll have to play. I think Sweet 16 is their ceiling. If they're able to get past this game, I don't think that they'll be able to beat Michigan State. But again, I mean, what I say does not matter at all. Clearly not to this team. So, almost luck they'll get the noon slot. I don't think it particularly matters, does it? I mean, it's neutral site. It's not like your student section won't be as drunk, right? So Early would love the men's and women's games to be separate on their times on Sunday. Was yelling at the phone for 2 hours today. Baylor does have a cool basketball arena, though. Yeah, what is ESPN? I mean, there's not many days that they could actually have this tournament, and then I guess you don't want to play on Mondays and Tuesdays. But I can't for the life of me think that it's a good business decision for the women's tournament to be playing at the same time as the men's tournament. That just does not make sense to me. And maybe that it's their only choice, but I mean, you're really just not going to get an audience with the men's tournament going on. That's not a slight; it's just the truth. A lot of turnovers by all teams in this tournament so far. It's that Wilson basketball they're using. It's slippery. No, I don't think the ball was slipping at Ole Miss's hands today. I think that they were making just mistakes. Don't forget the bottom of the eighth in the College World Series championship. That's another one. Pedulla's shot was on the level of the Chris Warren shot. This one's way better than the Chris Warren shot. Regular season home win against Kentucky? Nah. Was proud of how disciplined the team was with fouling. Also seemed to really know how to sell fouls against us. Yeah, they the transition defense early I thought was good, and they did defend well without fouling for a while. Been a real lack of big upsets in the tournament. Do you agree with the theory that the current state of college sports is affecting that? Because I think it is. It probably is, but don't forget last year was the third year into the portal era, right? And you had Oakland win a game. You had Grand Canyon win a game. You had James Madison. So, I mean, Colorado State beat Memphis in this tournament, and McNeese beat Clemson. So we haven't had that crazy 15-2 or whatever. But I mean, St. Mary's is a pretty good program, but there just hasn't been that uber shocking, I cannot believe this, it makes no sense kind of upset so far. But I mean, Drake beat Missouri. Colorado State is, I don't know. We just haven't had that one like St. Peter's yet. Really looking forward to this matchup with Iowa State, a worse rebounding team than North Carolina. It's house money for Ole Miss. It's absolute house money. It is house money. They are pretty long though, but the rebounding numbers, if Ole Miss can do that again, then they have a real shot. They shot the basketball much better today. It's just that 6-minute scoring drought, that stuff's got to stop. You have got to, when things get weird, just go back to what was working for you. You have to move the basketball. You have to move without it. Those things that they just don't do. It's very frustrating. We've seen it in the tournament. Teams going to zone just destroys the opponent's offense all the time. Yeah. There have been so many blowouts in the tournament. There have been. Let's see right now. Nightcap just really got underway, though. Let's see. Yeah, Arizona blowing out Akron, Oklahoma, UConn. We'll see if that one gets fun. Duke wasn't close. Florida wasn't close. It shouldn't have been. I mean, Robert Morris had a lead late in the second half against Alabama. That's something. Troy, Kentucky, not close. Iowa State, Lipscomb, not close. Grand Canyon, Maryland, almost a 40-point win. Colorado State, Memphis was fun. North Carolina, Ole Miss got close there for a bit. New Mexico, Marquette was probably a good game. I didn't watch a second of it. Baylor, Mississippi State was really good today. Some rumblings that Beard's NIL funding can get up to $7 to $7.5 million in the offseason portal recruiting. I wouldn't be surprised if they get even more than that now that they've won a game in this tournament. What are the chances Ole Miss, North Carolina is a conference game in 3 years? I think the chance is better in 5 years because the ACC signed their own death warrant by that grant of rights lawsuit thing. So the ACC will be dead as a conference in 5 years. They signed their lives away is what they did. Led their morning pregame show this morning talking about how great North Carolina was. And then on one of them, they brought out a live Ram on the show. Yeah. It was weird. Nobody believed in the 6 seed in this game. Nobody. It was very odd. Iowa State's minus 5.5. What do you think? I think that's about exactly right. Have a 6-minute scoring drought on Sunday, and it will not be close. You can only have bourbon if you fix your curtain rod. Well, joke's on you. I've got a bottle right up there that I will not be popping tonight. However, I don't need your bourbon anyway. Thoughts on some other SEC teams in the bracket right now. In a weird way, I was actually impressed with Texas A&M last night. I know it's weird, but I was actually impressed with them. I would be worried sick if I were an Auburn fan about their game over Creighton. Those boys can really, really shoot. Really shoot the basketball. I would be worried. Let's see. Florida dominant. I think Florida's winning the national championship. So I think they're just going to run right through it. Let's see. Kentucky impressed pretty good today. I'm looking forward to their battle with Tennessee coming up. But no, I think Florida by far the best team in this tournament, and they were my national champion, and I'm not wavering from that really at all. I know it's weird, but I did like Texas A&M last night. And again, I think Auburn's going to lose here soon. Worried about Iowa State having an insane fan advantage in Milwaukee. They will have one. They will. ACC down to one team left in the tournament for the first time in the history of the conference and the NCAA tournament. First time ever. Austin, go find his Twitter. He's the guy that called Ole Miss a fraud. He said you're welcome is what he said on Twitter. Yeah, UNC had the crowd advantage today for sure. Which is to be, I mean, they're a basketball blue blood. They have fans that have no ties to the state, let alone the university, all over the country. It's kind of how that happens. Drake shouldn't even be a Cinderella anymore. I mean, that was their first NCAA tournament win. I think that counts, but I hear you. I don't think the SEC's holding up so far. I think it's fine. The league's fine. It's the best league in college basketball, but it's not perfect. It's the tournament. Teams lose. I don't think that this is some indictment on the committee like some people are going to try to frame it as. Who would you have rather had in? Who should have been in instead? That's when you say, like maybe West Virginia, right? But like San Diego State got in. Well, why is nobody pointing to, the Mountain West overrated? Why is nobody doing that? San Diego State did not belong on the floor with North Carolina this week. Why is it only the SEC when they have a team lose where people are like, oh, they shouldn't have gotten in? Okay, replace Texas with who? Replace them with who? Replace Oklahoma if they lose with who? Replace Mississippi State with who? These teams that lost, who should have gotten in over them? because you're going to start talking about teams with a net in the 60s that played one quad one game. Give me a break. Kentucky all of a sudden playing some defense? No kidding. Troy played so badly today, though. They did. Watch out for Gonzaga and Creighton tomorrow. No kid. I'm telling you, I think Creighton has a real chance at beating Auburn. I really do. I really, really do. Yeah, and Gonzaga, a top 10 team in all the metrics. So Creighton has a two guard that can rip contested twos. He torched Louisville. Yeah, he did. State and Vandy messed up your bracket. Yeah, I picked Vanderbilt, but I did pick Baylor in our bracket challenge. So is it fair to say Mississippi State is sort of wasting a talented player like Josh Hubbard? They had a disappointing season. They did underachieve this year. There's absolutely no doubt. And he was outstanding today and just didn't have the help. They invested a lot of money into this basketball program, and in a weird way, they are well funded in basketball. You can talk about football not being so, but they're well funded in basketball. That's for sure. But yes, this roster was an expensive one and it underachieved. No doubt about it. Auburn's overrated. They're not making it to the final. I agree. I talked about the refusing to call Ole Miss earlier. I mean, I think it's somebody trying to make a point. It's a lame one and an accurate one, but that's what he's trying to do. Was Kiffin at a frat house watching I have no idea where Lane Kiffin watched the game today. I have no idea. Is Turner Broadcasting anti-SEC? I don't think they're anti-SEC. I don't think so. But if they are, I mean, it could be as simple as they don't air SEC games anymore. I did see that Louisville fan throw a beer. And I also saw TV Teddy blowing kisses to the Louisville fans on his way out. That's a bad look. Thoughts on Arkansas beating Kansas? I put that in my bracket challenge. I picked Arkansas, actually. This has been an awesome coaching job from Calipari. He's gotten every ounce of everything out of that team. Kansas basketball. Are there glory days behind them? Probably not, but anyway. I got to run, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I mean, today it was a lot of fun. I know you guys had a blast, and we'll be back Sunday night. It'll be usual time Sunday night, regardless of what happens. And enjoy this one and enjoy baseball. I'm gonna go watch the end of that one. See you guys. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you on Sunday.